Chef and Black Man. So, next we have, of course, DJ Evil D. Evil D. He's on the mix. DJ Evil D. And last but certainly not least, 5FT. Can you guys see? Are you alright?
Yeah, why we couldn't get the king chair?
I don't know.
Yeah, how far get the king chair?
I don't know. So gentlemen, one last time though. Come on, let's give it up for Black Moon, please. All right, thank you gentlemen for being here. Talk about Enta Da Stg, which, you know, as I said a few minutes ago, really very important album who weren't around at the time in 1993 don't necessarily understand the impact of this album. They may just know it as great music, but I think it's a lot more than that. And maybe you guys can, you know, as we start out, just talk about what you think the significance of the album is. Anybody? Anybody? Don't be shy, come on.
We do this all the time.
No. Well, yo, I think that when we put the album together, a lot of hard work and dedication and passion was put into that. You know what I'm saying? And we didn't know, or I didn't know that it would have an impact that it has had over the years since we put out the album. You know, I'm real grateful for that. You know.
I mean, when we did the album in 1993, that's when the album came out. The album came out in '93. Before that was a single, "Who Got the Props," and for that time, the word independent probably just was so far from even thought of. You know, there were a few independents out there, but to make the impact that a major made was definitely not put on the map really at that time. So when we came out with "Who Got the Props," no one knew who we were. They didn't know what label we came out of. They didn't know, you know, things of that nature. So they just knew they liked this record, "Who Got the Props," and a lot of people played it, and that was cool for us because it put us on a pedestal where as long as you have good music, that you could definitely achieve what you need to achieve. And then later, Enta Da Stg was made on the same independent album. I mean, on the same independent label. So it was a real good significance at the time for hip hop because primarily it was known for just having major labels, you know. And if it was independent, like Cold Chillin' and all that stuff, they was still through Warner Brothers, you know. We was through a house label straight up and down, period.
Right, yeah, because tell everybody who may not know, Nervous was not known for hip hop at all at that time.
Nah, Nervous was known for house music and disco classics. Like they had Nervous / they had Sam Records. And Sam Records put out a lot of classic joints, you know, like The Invasions and the Breakbeat I Can't Stop, you know. So that's what they was known for.
Yeah, a lot of disco and boogie and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It wasn't like Michael who ran the label. His family was in the business.
Yeah, Michael Weiss and his father, Sam Weiss. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Weiss was pretty famous. Actually, like Barry Weiss is still the owner of Jive Records.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So the Weisses were, you know, were players in the music industry. And we was fortunate to get a record deal at the time by Michael Weiss, put it like that.
Yeah.
Now, can you talk a little bit about just what the importance of this album is to New York? Because, you know, from my recollection, circa like 92 or so, you know, it was pretty much all, you know, West Coast. The Chronic had come out, and, you know, Snoop was about to drop as well. And it was, you know, the stigma about New York was, well, they make okay records, but they're more artsy, or they're, you know, more on like the native tongues tip or something like that. Whereas this album came out and had a real power to it?
I mean, when this album came out, when Enta Da Stg came out, it embodied the personality and the people that made it, which is us as Evil D, 5FT, and myself. When you put all of us together as a unit, you get the elements that was in the album because, E being heavily influenced by old records, old funk, old jazz loops, stuff like that. And 5FT, and myself being prior dancers before picking up a microphone.
So we was absorbed by the music for a very long time. I think that, I could go recollect when my mom's had 2 turntables and a mic in the house when I was like 6 years old, with the speakers and the crates. So being embodied into that element and growing up into that element and appreciating music, period, having an opportunity to be a part of hip-hop and express it at that level is extraordinary.
See, and it's funny because a lot of people who say like the New York vibe at the time, like when they say that artsy or whatever, like the West Coast music came out, it was pure gangster, street gangster, straight up and down, bang music, you know what I mean? And then people was saying New York music is primarily known for like they would associate more Tribe and De La to New York because they would say New York is that quote unquote conscious stuff, and we do. So when Black Moon came out, when Black Moon came out with Enta Da Stg, it really changed the playing field because as an individual, I embody everything. I come from Franklin Avenue. We all come from the hood. Grew up on the block. Grew up in different parts of Brooklyn: Coney Island, Franklin Avenue, Bushwick, East New York. And then at the same time, we conscious because we grew up in an Islamic environment as well,
Right.
At the same time, we culturally and conscious, so we put all that in our music, and we fought back with the attitude of, when you listen to Enta Da Stg, you hear consciousness, you hear street stuff, street, hardcore, dudes that don't play, conscious, aware, and positive at the same time. So we set out a different message that we positive dudes that don't play no games. That's the bottom line. You know what I'm saying? And that was really the truth of how we are. So
right.
we universal. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
One thing I wanted to say is like putting the album together. Basically, like my thing is like from the music side, like they did all the lyrics. Me and Mr. Walk did the beats, and basically like my thing with the beats was, okay, I traveled. I used to go to the West Coast in the summer times to go stay with my aunt. And it's like the West over here, we on the trains, it's crowded. You know what I'm saying? We hitting the concrete, we doing what we gotta do. And that's what, one of the things that was put into the music and everything. Our everyday lifestyle, everyday function, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was on the train with my Walkman, listening to, whatever was rocking at the time, and then I would go home and be like, okay, I heard Gangstar. Just to get a rep is crazy, or this record is crazy. And then I would go to, what was that? It was a party back in the days where they used to play the beats.
Soul Kitchen.
Soul Kitchen. We go hang out at Soul Kitchen, then leave Soul Kitchen, go to D&D, no, at the time it was Calliope, go to Calliope, and then work on the beats. You know what I'm saying? And my brother, Walt, he made his beat. Like me, I make my beats on the spot. Mr. Walt he made his beats at home. Like with me, I like the pressure. I like when Buck and Five walk in and go, yo, we got these lyrics, and I'd be like, oh word, I got the beat. Give me 5 minutes, I'm gonna look for it. Come back 5 minutes, I program something. That's what this whole album reflected, basically, is me just making beats up and
Right.
And that's just it, you know what I'm saying?
No, before we, get through, before we get into actual going through all the songs, I want to ask you guys a little bit about just how the group came together, because, some folks may not, even know that five.
No one truly, really, like I'm not known, but very few people, because we don't get a chance to actually really go over it, but very few people know the beginning of how Black Moon came together. Like, not how we started as a group when we started, but the person that can tell you that is Father T.
Right.
I moved to Bushwick in '86, and I went to a high school called Bushwick. That's where I met Evil D. At the time I met him, he was DJing, he was doing music, man, Ali, and shout out to the Black Baron. Yeah, and you know, we connected. At the time I was dancing, you know what I'm saying? So Ali was around, we was dancing. So they end up breaking up. So I was like, yo, you know, back in his house. I ain't never see so much records like this in my life. But now I'm a lover of music from growing up, being around it. So we directly connected. He still was DJing, doing this thing. Then I went down to Virginia for a minute. And one day I called him and I said, yo, I'm coming back to New York. You know what I'm saying? So when I get back, we're gonna connect. So when I got back, we connected, and during that journey, you know, still dealing with music, he still was making beats, he still was DJing, he was doing wild parties, house parties, went through the carrying the records here, carrying the records there, mad crates and all that. You know what I'm saying? So, and during this process, I had met Buck in Brownsville, in the center. He was dancing. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, we kicked it for a minute, you know what I'm saying? At that time that he was dancing, he also told me he wanted to deal with the music. But, you know what I'm saying, that's what made us even connect on that level even more. So I ended up bringing him to Evil D crib, and from that point forth, like, the rest is history, you know what I'm saying? You know, everything from that point forth build up to what you got on Enta Da Stg, you know.
Like E, when he brought me to E, he was like, when I walked into the, I was doing the show the next day for a talent show, and I saw my man told me that he couldn't come. So I was walking out of the center, and I said, Dad, I don't have a partner. What am I going to do, you know? And this other guy was real tall. So when I was leaving out the center, I saw Five dancing to this music, and I went back and I said, "Damn, he's short." And I was like, yo, Dad, I was like, that's hot. You know what I'm saying? I was like, yo, he could do it. You know what I'm saying? And he's nice too. I'm like, Dad. So I walked back in. I said, yo, man, you nice, yo. I'm like, yo, word. He was like, yo, good looking, man. I was like, word, yo, do you want to do this talent show? And he was like, yo, I'm down. And I was like, word. So I was like, yo, this stuff coming out, just these beats, this music you listening to is hot. Where you getting this from? He said, my man actually made this. I was like, what? He said, yeah, I was like, you know somebody who made this stuff? That's when he brought me over to East Crib. And he said, yo, you know, Evil D had a Black Moon with him and his brother. You know what I'm saying? And then everything right there, they said, yo, let's form Black Moon. And from right there, Black Moon was born.
Yeah.
Because Black Moon was the name of your production.
Black Moon was actually Beatminer's original name.
Right.
Mr. Walk was a fan of Moonlighting. There's a true story.
With Bruce Willis?
Mr. Walk was a fan of Moonlighting. And if he was here, he would punch me in the face for saying that. But the name of their detective agency was Blue Moon Detective Agency. So Walt just changed the Blue Moon to Black Moon. So Beatminer's original name was Black Moon. Then what happened was my brother had an MC. The MC name was DEA. And DEA went beat shopping with me and my brother. Me and my brother used to go beat shopping in East New York in this, it was like, yo, it was a basement filled with records. They just threw the records down there. It was wet, it was nasty. You see dead carcasses floating, dead mice and dead rats floating. But we would be in there digging for records, and we would come up looking crazy, looking like we was coal mining. So DEA was like, yo, y'all the beat miners, y'all the beat miners. And he made a song called Beat Miners, Walk Like That so much, he changed Blackbird's name to Beat Miners, and that's when Buckshot said, yo, taking that name. But one thing I do want to say is, when Buck came to my house that first time, Buck walks into my house, and the first thing out of his mouth, not yo, what's up, da da da, damn, you got a lot of records.
Never seen that many records, ever.
And another thing is, Five in school, when we was in Bushwick High School, Five was that dude. There's always one dude that went to school that was always dancing for no reason. That was Five. And it was ill because I was like, yo, Five is the nicest dance I ever seen. And then he brought Buckshot along, like, don't get it twisted. These two dudes can dance. They may be all laid back right now, but they get theirs on that dance floor.
But that was the thing then too. It's like every crew had dancers.
That was our connection to hip hop at that time, on the come up. You know what I'm saying? That's how we were reflecting it at that time. And you know, in reality, we was trying to really do the dancing thing real hard. You understand? I mean, seriously, we was trying to like, you know, move toward that direction of going toward, you know, dancing, doing choreography, and really taking that really seriously.
And it's ironic that Kane is here, because Scoob and Scrap, for us, like to be able to reach Scoob and Scrap level was like, you're out of here. That is it. That's all we want to do is wear those outfits that they wear.
Yo, it was so wild. We would go to clubs, and like music would come on, and these two would just disappear and just start dancing. And we'd be in clubs, and I'd just be out because I don't dance. So I'd just be in the background chilling, and everybody would be like, yo, them dudes is ill. Who's that? I'm like, yo, it's Black Moon.
That's kind of the music we do when we made the album. Every track that he gave us, in our heads, and me and Five heads, and we were still dancing. We had to be able to somehow, some way, melodically dance to the music. If it was grooving, then it was like,
So how did you turn the corner and go from focusing on dancing to MCing?
One day we did this show for Parks Department. And oh my gosh, I don't think that was like the first time someone had ever paid us to do a performance. I was like, this is money to do what we like to do? This is crazy. I couldn't believe it. It was like, wow.
Out here or in Brooklyn?
In Brooklyn. It was like, you do something for the park, they have a little stipend.
It was called Take Back the Park, right? That was the name of it.
And they got us to perform. And you know what I'm saying? But for some reason, after that day, it was just something in my chest, that was like, we need to focus, on a little bit more on the MCing. I kind of felt like we was good, but I was always studying other people and always studying. That's my thing. And I'm like, we good, but we could be better. And one of the things that, we kind of got a roadblock in is all of us got talent, but we put too much in the bag. Me and Five as dancers. E was MCing at the time.
That's right.
I was the worst MC ever. Let it be known.
He was rapping.
I was the worst. And I can admit that. I don't care what anybody says, I was the worst.
We called him D, the master of what?
Gibberish. The master of gibberish. First of all, let me explain. And as a matter of fact, if you look on YouTube, this guy right here posted something too. He posted me rhyming too, but you have to really look for it though. But I was the worst MC. Unlike a lot of MCs that are whack, I knew I was whack, and I knew I had to quit. You know what I'm saying?
He was like, yo, I'm not gonna rhyme no more.
I said, I ain't rhyming no more. I'm just gonna DJ. I'll yell on the mic. That's about it.
And there was a lot of pressure. Don't get it twisted, man. It was a lot of pressure.
We went through a lot of rocks. We did a lot. We was hustling, trying to get equipment. Someone was always trying to get the next piece of equipment that was coming out. It was just working like, we really hustled. You know what I'm saying, and bustle to even have a product like that. You know what I'm saying? And that's crazy, man. We paid a lot of dues, man. Some was running up and working for doing internship at labels.
I was the intern.
Okay.
I was the intern for Soul MCA Records, and at the same time I was interning right after interning for Soul MCA Records. And again, it's so funny that I'm on stage with Kane tonight because I actually worked on the Juice soundtrack when
Right.
Kane was on Juice, and I worked on that soundtrack as an intern.
That was the Bomb Squad's label for MCA at the time.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Here's the funny thing. He was interning at the label. Mr. Walt finagled the promotion for the Juice joint. Like, he finagled it so that we was the New York promotion reps for the Juice movie.
Yo, they had about not 5,000, but it seemed like 5,000 boxes of juice stuff everywhere.
Yo,
T-shirts, we had juice hats,
Juice T-shirts,
every
hats,
single that they put out,
records, cassettes.
And no disrespect, Juice, I'm sorry, but I always had the hustler in me. I was hustling incense and oils and stuff like that at the time, but I also was like, wow, how can I like actually stack up some of this juice stuff and sell it like a record store?
Hey, I'll say it right now, yo. We was promoting the Juice soundtrack, and we was selling them. We was promoting them at the front door and selling everything at the back door. Called the hustle.
Come get your